All right, man, peace. So for many of you brothers out there who view my NBA videos, I stated prior to last NBA regular season, the 2018-2019 NBA regular season, that the Boston Celtics were going to have a series of chemistry issues on their squad because Kyrie Irving was going to have to come back and reassert himself as the leader of the team, and he was going to have to deal with incumbent young players who were going to be dead set on proving that they were just as good as him because they were going to be trying to make NBA All-Star teams, average 20 points per game, etc. I also noted that Jayson Tatum was out there training with Kobe Bryant and that was going to bring a lot of issues within the locker room because, as we all know, that Mamba mentality is based completely in narcissism and self-serving. Kobe's mentality is whenever you have the basketball, whether it's one guy on you, no people on you, or four men on you, shoot the basketball. And of course, what that led to was what it often led to in Kobe Bryant's career, that being a degradation in the efficiency and proficiency of Jayson Tatum's game, and really him isolating himself and creating this bubble where he tried to exist as an offensive player outside of the overall scheme that the Boston Celtics were trying to run. And then you add to that Kyrie Irving is another player who has the Mamba mentality, and even though he was empowered by having the basketball in his hands as the point guard, he was trying to be a 6'2" Kobe Bryant. It seems as if the Boston Celtics finally got the memo, and they agree with what I was saying from the very beginning. Do not go out there and work with Kobe Bryant and bring back a lot of that Mamba mentality bullshit. Yes, he could teach you some moves in the low post that you learned from watching Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson, but you keep it at that. Do not take what that guy tells you when it comes to your approach on the offensive side of the basketball and bring it here. Because for the most part, you know that if you truly understand Kobe's career in context and how it transpired, it basically was an overall narrative of how Phil Jackson was able to rein in a lot of his narcissism and make it fit within the framework of the team. He was never trained truly on how to play with others within a team concept. Kobe Bryant I'm talking about. So that's why it's amazing to me that he has adopted this image of some type of Yoda or great basketball yogi who's just going to instruct all the other young basketball players across the NBA on how they should approach their offense. What he's good for is learning some basic offensive moves in the half court. But if a young player starts to listen to what Kobe thinks their approach should be on the offensive side of the floor, they're quickly going to find themselves on the end of the bench. They're going to find that their shooting percentage has dropped 4 to 5 percentage points, and that their teammates hate them as Kobe's teammates often hated him. Just facts. So Jayson Tatum is going to have to learn how to play well with others this season. Of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
All right, before the break, we told you to check out the piece from our own Tim Bontemps on how the Celtics are trying to take a little of the Kobe out of Jayson Tatum's game after their infamous workout prior to last season. Matt, do you agree with the premise?
Who's trying to take it out of what? What's going on here? I think his up
Matt Barnes, lay off the weed and you'll understand the question, sir.
and down season last year was more with the nature of the team and the environment of the team.
Yes, and a large contributor to the environment of the team was that everyone came into last season with the mentality that I'm going to get mine. That's the Mamba mentality. Kyrie Irving was supposed to show greater leadership by actually deferring to the younger players and empowering them. Had he done that, I believe that their chemistry would have been much better. But I also believe that Kyrie Irving had little to no respect for a lot of the other younger players on the team, and he wanted them to view him like how the league views LeBron James. So that's where the conundrum came in. He could have diffused the situation, but he didn't. I kind of understand why he was hesitant to empower the younger players to that degree, but still he should have shown a little bit more trust for the younger players, and they wanted him to trust them because in their mind they had already shown him and the rest of the league that they can get the team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Once Kyrie came into the season deciding that he was going to be combative with the thought of empowering his teammates, it was over. And then when you compound that with players like Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum coming into the season last year, clearly with an agenda to make the All-Star team and average 20 points per game, and then you throw the Gordon Hayward dynamic into the mix, that whole situation was almost fated to be fucked up beyond all recognition by the All-Star break, which it pretty much was.
Kyrie situation and Gordon Hayward coming back, I think that's where you saw a little, possible, a digression in his game. But to take Kobe out of, you don't take, if someone has Kobe in him, you definitely don't want to take it out of him. Tatum's a smart player. He's going to be able to.
There's only one Kobe Bryant. That's a once-in-a-lifetime player someone who comes along who has that diversity of an offensive repertoire and is allowed to take as many bad shots as he was allowed to take. That's why I state that the Phil Jackson aspect is extremely important, because Kobe would not have worked with any other coach. And over the course of his career, you see that he did not really work with any other coach because he had very little idea how to play within a team concept or a team framework.
But the skill work that Kobe, helps all these players with. You see everyone's coming to LA now for these private Mamba workouts, and I really love the fact that he's passing his blessing on to some of these guys. But like I said, I think last year's Tatum situation was less the Kobe-isms and more of just the uncertainty of the team.
So let me ask you this, Amin. Do you think that
the Kobe-isms played a part, but I'll say this: there were certainly some issues within that team from the get-go.
It was more about just, look, Kyrie was handling the ball, and guys were like, well, I got to get mine because he's getting his, right?
That's exactly what it was. And the Mamba mentality played a heavy contributor to that dynamic.
And do you think it was more of that, or do you buy into the Kobe thing?
Well, I think, first of all, I'd say that,
They're interconnected. They're not separate.
look, Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest students of the game we've ever had.
Yes.
I've watched film of him breaking down, oh, I got that from Oscar Robertson.
Right.
And they did a split screen of him doing a move that he saw Oscar Robertson do exactly that.
Yeah, and by the way, you can catch Kobe Detail on ESPN Plus. It's only $4.99 a month.
There you go. Next plug. So there's definitely value to his basically his analysis of the game as a player, how to add things to your game. The big issue, I think, is for Tatum, and also hurt Kobe too. Sometimes you're doing things that ain't the easiest way to get the job done.
In other words, Amin Al-Hassan, in a very nice way, you're trying to state that Kobe took a lot of bad shots. And those of us who paid attention to the game know that already. For his career, he was about a 44.5% shooter from the field. He has the most misses in the history of the NBA. So one can certainly make the case that he's the most inefficient great player in the history of the league.
The dribble, step back, fade away over two dudes from 18 feet. Nice shot when it goes in, but it doesn't have a track record of going in a lot. Not to say that you never need that. Sometimes you need someone who can make that kind of shot.
Right.
You saw Kawhi Leonard do it a bunch.
Particularly in the playoffs.
In the playoffs last year.
In a far more efficient and proficient way, we saw Kawhi Leonard do what Amin Al-Hassan was speaking about in last year's playoffs. That's why there was so much controversy when certain people stated that Kawhi Leonard at his peak, in his prime, on both offense and defense, was a better overall player than Kobe Bryant. Not as spectacular, but a better overall player because of what he brought to the table on both offense and defense and the proficiency with which he brought it.
But the idea is there are a lot of easy buckets to be had on the floor, straightforward buckets. And that's one of the things I like about Kawhi Leonard is he doesn't mess around with the ball a whole lot.
Absolutely. In other words, Amin Al-Hassan, you probably cannot say this on camera, but you also believe that a prime Kawhi Leonard is greater and a better player overall than a prime Kobe Bryant, just not as spectacular. And of course, a lot of Kobe Bryant's fanboys are going to get upset. What are you talking about? Kobe averaged 35 a game. He averaged 32 a game the next season. What are you talking about? Of course, because he was allowed to jack up shot after shot. Kobe's tremendous offensive stamina is unbelievable. I give him credit for all that. And once again, he's probably the most spectacular offensive player in the modern era of the NBA, because he can get hotter from three than just about any player in the history of the league outside of Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry. I give him that much credit. But quarter by quarter, game by game, you see the flaws in how Kobe played.
And I think for Tatum, he went from having a very quick, efficient game his first year to second year trying to live up to, well, Kobe does this. That's all right, you do it.
And you can't really play like that in this modern NBA. When you have five guys out, there are no players in the paint anymore, basically. You might have a couple of centers in the paint, but now you have stretch fives. So you have to move the basketball. You just can't dribble, or post up in the mid-post like Kobe used to do. Every once in a while you can do that. But you can't do that every possession and then take on double teams like he was allowed to do.
Every once in a while you do it when the situation calls for it. It's not something you do primarily. So what I would say is it's not taking the Kobe out of the game. It's just let's balance the diet a little bit.
Matt, I guess to Amin's point, is it more that he should just take what the defense is giving him?
It's picking and choosing your spots.
Yeah.
And that's what Kobe learned over the years just picking and losing spots. I remember a quick story. We were on a flight one time, and he was over there drawing a bunch of different courts on the thing and figuring out where we were going to be open in the triangle. You know what I mean? Like, that's how sick he is with the game. So,
yeah, he was trying to figure out where you guys were going to be open in the triangle so that he could avoid those plays. He only wanted to run the plays where you guys were not going to be able to get open so that he could shoot the damn ball.
It's just learning. Jayson Tatum's his third year, fourth year. It's
Right.
just learning when, time, and place. But to me, if you got Kobe in, you can't take it out of you.
All right, let's move on.
Look at Kobe hugging Kawhi. Kawhi's like, Kobe, why are you hugging me? Is it because the cameras are here? But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see how things go for Mr. Jayson Tatum and the Boston Celtics this upcoming NBA season. I do think that the Celtics are a dark horse in the Eastern Conference. They'll probably be somewhere around a 4 to 6 seed. And they could upset someone in the first round or even second round. Who the hell knows? Especially if they gel like I anticipate they're going to gel, particularly with Kemba Walker at point guard. He could be the offset for Kyrie Irving with the Nets, even if Kevin Durant were to return before the end of next regular season, which I believe he will. Kemba Walker has always been able to offset Kyrie Irving. Is he the player that Kyrie is? No. But he does seem to be sort of a kryptonite for Kyrie. Kyrie has no idea how to guard him, and Kemba gets very hot when they play against one another. He's almost like what Mitch Richmond was to Michael Jordan back in the 90s, where they would just go back and forth. Jordan would end with 35, Mitch would end with 28, and the Bulls would normally win. So that's going to be the question for Kyrie and the Nets. Are they going to be able to get the victory if Kyrie ends up getting into shootouts with Kemba Walker? And will Kemba Walker try to draw Kyrie into shootouts and then set up his teammates to empower them like Kyrie was supposed to do last season? Peace.